Welcome to our video about the Arduino board by Hannah and Emra.
Killers on the helmets, legacies, found wait and see, pocket smooth, dining, selling ball, candy, man on the macho like Randy, the chopper go out to for granted, this nigga bullet you bandit, hope we kill it.
So we're gonna start looking at the code here. And the point of the code is to be able to record temperature, which we will talk about a little bit later when we're talking about the temperature sensors, which you can see peeking right there
and right there.
Okay, so as you can see, there's different pins. Pin mode 7 output, meaning that we're going to be taking the temperature and reading from each of those outputs.
From pin 7 to pin 13.
Which you can see there. So a little more about the setup of the Arduino board.
So each of these wires comes from a certain pin that carries current to here. Then it travels through the corresponding light bulb and through the resistor, and then to the negative column, which is connected to the ground.
And we can see here, when you're looking at the temperature sensor, the very leftmost wire is connected to the input, and then the middle wire is what reads and sends back to the Arduino board, and then the last wire right here goes back to the ground, or the negative here.
Yeah, so we're using all those.
And you can see each of those pins are going to be connected to each corresponding LED light, which we'll explain what that means here. So starting off, we have, when you start with the serial print right there, which is the menu that is going to pop up once you click
over here
on the little serial monitor right there.
So once when we click on that, it says, "Welcome to Emra and Hannah's therm." Oh, all that.
Okay. Here we go. And then it starts just about right about there. Okay.
So our inputs are, if you press A, you monitor the temperature in room A, which is corresponding to that temperature sensor. But if you press B, you monitor from a different room, which corresponds to that temperature sensor. And then E, you can click to exit at any time.
So if we come over here, you can see that it takes all these temperature readings. You have 1 through 10, and then at the very end, this part of the code right here, it tells you to average all of the temperatures to get an accurate reading. And then we have right here the temperature times the 1.8 plus 32 puts it in Celsius.
And then, so if you press A, and then down here it does the same thing for B. It's just for 2 different rooms. And then down here we have whether or not the pin turns on. So digital write 7 high means turn on pin 7.
So if we look over here, pin 7 is that one right there, which corresponds to the very first green light.
So this shows that if the temperature is below 69 degrees, it'll turn pin 7 to high, which means voltage will flow through pin 7 and light up the bulb that's connected to pin 7. And then,
which is the very first bulb right here.
Yep. And then if the temperature is anything but that, it'll turn that pin to low, which means there's no current flowing through it.
And then we move on to the same thing for 8, 9, and 10, and just moving on through different temperature ranges, which differ by only a degree.
So that means based on what temperature it is in the room, you'll have a different light bulb light up telling you if it's hot or cold.
And so we're going to go ahead, if we click right over here back to the
serial monitor,
and we click that we want to read room A, and we click enter,
it'll start telling you the temperature of room A in degrees Fahrenheit. And so since it's above 69 but below 70, it's going to light up, well, it's switching back and forth, but if it's above 69, it'll light up the second pin, which means that pin 8 is turned to high, and it'll light up that light bulb.
And if you see over here, if we hold on to our little temperature sensor, it'll start
heat it up
hot.
A little bit.
Oops.
See?
Now, a nice little red light bulb is on.
That means it's real hot.
And yeah, that's our beautiful Arduino board and program.
Yeah.
Beautiful, truly.
It is. So something like this would be really useful for in a house or something like that. If you wanted to monitor temperatures in various places, so you could put a different temperature sensor in each room, and then when you wanted to figure out what the temperature was in each room, you would just type in the letter that corresponds, and you can adjust accordingly.
And then you could even go further with this so that these certain programs could be made to automatically make a change. So if you don't want room B to be between a certain degree, you can program it to change it and to be able to monitor both rooms and find a temperature that suits both rooms well.
Yep. So buy our product.
Thanks, Dr. Wisby. Yeah.
Panda, 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 panda. I got broads in Atlanta.